Hi there. Right, so today at last I'm going to do my demonstration of a journal, a junk journal, mixed media journal. You saw the finished one on my show a little while ago, and I've been promising to do this, but it's just been waiting till I can set up the camera and what have you. It's been a bit tricky. I've got it suspended on a lamp, so hopefully I've marked out my workspace, so hopefully I'll be in shot all the time. So what I've done here is I've cut two pieces of the Zutter board to 8.5 inches by 6.25 inches that way, and that gives us our hardcover. Now what I like to do is cover the inside with fabric. So just looking at this one, you can see that I've cut a piece of fabric. This is my spine side, so I've made sure that the fabric lines up perfectly with the spine edge. Can you see that? Yep, lovely. That lines up perfectly with the spine edge. This edge isn't so important because when we come to cover, or when you come to cover the outside, you will overlap that by 1/4 to 1/2 inch around those edges, but this spine side won't be covered because you'll have your spine and your book edge there, so you can't actually do that. So I've done that with both pieces. Now next thing you want to do is lay down your pieces flat perfectly together, and then with a pencil, I mean I have made the holes here, but I'm going to show you how to do that. So what I do is, from one edge you need to mark in pencil 1 inch, and you do that 3 times, and then you come to the other edge and do again, measure 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, and then that's roughly about 1/4 inch away from the spine. That will allow the book to sit nicely inside when it's finished. So there are 2 spines. Next, what we want to do is our signatures. Now it's a tricky one, this, because obviously with the mixed media I've put in here, I'll show you one of them. I just want to lie them down first. So what we do is lay our 2 covers together. I find it easier to do that, you don't have to, and then place your pages central. It will give you about 5mm all the way around using those measurements, because all of these are A4, so they're A4 folded in half, so the measurements I gave you for the cover are perfect for the A4 folded in half. So what I've done is I've chosen the signatures, the contents I want in each signature. Here I've got some watercolour card, some Ida fabric, some cream drawing card, just little different pieces of fabric. There's 2 very fine pieces of fabric here which would be great to stitch. Then you've got the opportunity to stitch them together and edge the sides if you want to. Just gives you a bit more opportunity to do that. And then what I always like to do is end up with your centre page being a card or watercolour card or some type of card there, because it just when you come to stitching it makes it a lot easier. So we place those all perfectly edged on. Now next what you need to do, let me move that up and just make sure you can see that. So when that's perfectly central, you take your ruler, line that up with the hole that you've made with your bradawl. Just showing you that, didn't I? Because I didn't show you that. So I've just used a pokey tool. So where I made those marks before, I just mark them through, press them through using your foam mat. Let's just pop those across over there out the way. Then when you've done the first lot of holes, measure that perfectly, and then with your foam mat again you go through both covers, and that will give you the perfectly spaced holes on both sides. Now this is where you do need to be careful when you move them. You need to keep them now. You need to make sure you know which side's which. So then we get our signatures, place them onto our base. I put that on there because you need to work methodically now. So I've gone ahead and made the holes in most of them, but I've left two so that I can show you. So as we're doing it, what you need to do is flip that book over like this and place it in front of you, and then with each of the subsequent ones you make the holes and you place that on top of your cover. Let's see if I can show you that. You take your next one, turn it and place, turn it and place, turn it and place, and make sure they're all in order. So this is what we do to make the holes. Sorry about the mat, it's seen better days. So we take our signature, open the signature, being careful to keep the crease, place it onto your mat, and you make the holes in the spine. Actually, I've done this one as well. So that's quite straightforward. So you've marked these with your ruler. I'm going to show you that again in a minute. And then you've made your holes, you flip over and place on the book. So to get the marks, I can't remember if I showed you now. So you have all your books lined, all your signatures lined up. You place your ruler onto the edge of the mark, and with your pencil you just draw up when you've got all your signatures there, and that gives you the mark that you need to pierce. So we open the signature and try to be very careful with when you open it. It's worth taking the time here. There's your signature, you open it and that gives you the lines. You can just see the marks there, there and there. When I put them back together, I'm just going to quickly show you that again. Just make sure that all the creases line up. So if you do it with just with card for your inserts, that's a good idea to start with, because it's a lot easier when you come to stitching with card. To start off with, the fabric does tend to move a lot more than the card, but you know, obviously if you want a nice mixed media book with lots of different surfaces, then obviously you need to do that. So that is all our signatures in place. Just check that again. So we've put them, so that is going to be our book. There we are. So I'm just going to quickly show you again how to mark the pages, just in case I didn't make it clear. So you centralise your page, your signatures onto your cover. You take your ruler, line it up with the hole in your cover, and then you just brush the side with your pencil. So that's your first one, move along, your second one, move along, third one, move along, fourth, fifth and sixth. So we pop those away and make sure that you flip so we keep them separate, and we want just our cover now. Right, so now what I'm going to do is we take some thread. I think this is just a little bit slightly thicker than a regular thread. Pearl or perle, however you want to say it, that's a good thread to use. I've just wrapped it around this bottle now for easiness, because I measured it out earlier. You want to really work with as much length as you can. It will tangle, but you just have to work slowly with this. I wax it. I wax mine with beeswax. This is just a lump of beeswax that I've formed into a little ball, and we want to run the cord through the wax. Now this helps in two ways. Firstly, it stops it getting quite so tangled as it would normally. It gives it a lot more strength to your thread as well. And obviously if you're making a journal like this, you want it to last. You know, I've had some of them that I've made and I've had them for years. The stitch I'm going to show you is called a Coptic stitch, this one. There's lots of other stitches you can use. I like this one particularly because it means that you can open your journal fully flat, which I'll show you. We do stitch it fairly tightly, and over time you'll find that slackens off. So you get you'll see when I come to do the stitching. So as I say, I've just run along that length twice. And then the fun and tricky part is going to be threading it. So if you don't have enough thread, you can join it. What I've done before is I actually act as I've started all over again and just put a knot in the end. So sorry, it's very tricky. I didn't know how I was going to manage this today. So let's try and thread a needle. Let's try and do it singly actually. I should have got a needle threader, shouldn't I? Blind as a bat really. Oh, please go in. Oh. I'm not going to have much luck, am I, here? It's been quite damp here this year, and I've noticed that a lot of my needles have started to rust a little bit. Right, I'm going to quickly rush and get another needle. Give me 2 seconds, I'm really sorry, I can't stop it because otherwise it stops the video. Right, this is what I meant about things going rusty. This is my long teddy bear needle and it's really rusted on the end. You see it? It's really weird. It's never been as damp as this before. I hope this doesn't cause too much problem with the stitching. It might actually make it a touch easier actually. So bear with me while I just thread this needle. There we are. So that's the needle threaded, and then at the end of the thread we want to just put a knot. And this is how I do it. You know, there's again no right or wrong. It's entirely up to you. I usually just do a double knot. The longer you take to do it, the better. So there's our knot in there. I'll just trim the end of that. Get that rid of. Right. So to start with, we take our first signature, which if you remember, we turned upside down. We open the signature so you can see the centre, and you can see how badly I've done that, can't you? I didn't check that at all, did I? Just make those again. Right, so put the needle through. This is where I said you've got to be quite careful because it does tangle. Right, so we've come through the first. Oh no, I've already made an error here, haven't I? There you It goes so well when I do it myself, and now look, going crazy. And we go back through the next hole. I like to do this on the first one. It's probably, I know a lot of people go straight into the base, but I prefer to give mine a little bit of strength. So I've come through the first hole, and then I'm going to come up through my first hole like that. Hopefully you can see that. This one's going to be quite loose because obviously I want to make sure that you see what I'm doing. Now, as I said, some people just do this first straight away on the second, so in which case you'd go through your centre, out and then under. I like to do it this way. So then we come through a hole there, just pull and twist, and then we're going to go back through that hole. So in effect what we've done, I'll show you when I've pulled this all through. You can see how handy that wax is. So in effect what we've done is we've come through here, under, then we've hooked under and back through, so this now locks that page. So now we're back on the inside, and we want to come back through. This is always the most tricky bit, but I think it's worth doing the first one. I've always been unhappy when I've started off on that first hole. So we're going through the centre again, and we're going to pull this all the way through. There we are. So now we've done that, we're going to repeat just exactly what we did just now. So we're going to come through onto the spine, so there we are, we're through onto the spine, and then we're going to do again exactly what we did before. We hook through that little loop, there we are, and that has locked the first two. It does get a lot easier once you've done that first piece. So now we're going to go back through the first hole again, it's sod's law, you know, you do it all the time and it comes perfectly. You come to put it onto the video and it doesn't. Right, so there we are. So that's brought that through to the first one. So now we're going to skip this and go through to the next hole. As I say, I like to do it that way and start on the second hole and come back because I just think it gives it a bit more strength. It's probably that my tension's not so good on the old first one, and I just find that once you've got that first bit out of the way, it's better. So we've come through this, then we go through our third hole at the back and bring that through. Then we hook underneath, pull that through, pull it tight, which has twisted our thread, which means that gives the ability to go back through into that hole again. There we are. Now then we want to go into our, straight across now into our next hole. I hope you can see this. I'll just hold it up like that. So then we've gone through that hole. Again, we go through the base and pull that through, and then hook through. So what you're actually doing, if I pull that like that, when we've got that tight underneath, we're actually hooking underneath, so that locks that, and then we can go back through that hole again. Yep. Done now. Just tighten those two up. Let's bring that down. We've got our little things twisted now. So right, so pull that tight. I knew this morning it would be one of them days. Right, so I'm going to just leave that a bit looser than normal. So we're going to come back through that hole. Through your next bit of your spine. Check it's gone through again, yeah. And then repeat that. You go through the base. I'm really sorry about this. And then hook. Pull through, tighten off, and straight through. Make sure it doesn't get tangled at the other end again. So you've got a big tangle there. Just as I say, go easy, put some tension on both sides just to get the thread even again, and then continue to pull through. There we go, so that's back through, and then we can go through our final hole, and this is where we join on to our next signature. So we'll hold that there for a minute. So we get our next signature, pop it there. We find the centre of the next signature. Oops, where are we? what's going on here. Right, so we'll leave it at that. There we are, I've done it now. Right, so we come through that signature. Back through the second. Second. Now we want to hook under that one again and bring that through. Come back through the same hole again, which is locked for us. Pull that through. Back through your first one. Don't like me, does it, the thread today? Thing is, once you start getting a few things wrong, I'm sure everyone's the same, you get a few things going wrong and you feel like you've got to stick with it. Right then, so we've pulled that through there. Then we want to go straight through. Let's see if you can see it. There we are, that's straight through our base. Hook through again. Which locks us in there. And then through, ouch, through again. This is where it would be handy if I could sweep the video along with it, wouldn't it? So what I might do is stop the video now, finish stitching, and then I'll come back when we... actually I'll do a little bit more first just to get the gist and see if I can get a run of good luck. So we're coming through there, pull our cotton through, which locks that in, and then we're going underneath that one there. And this is where a shorter needle is better, or if you've got one, a curved needle. You know, some people might have a curved needle, that's great. So if I do that, that locks us in there, and then we can go back through that hole, which I'll just do. I'm getting all sweaty now and worried. So when we go back through that hole, then we skip right across. I'm really sorry for this. So we go through a hole, pull that through, and again underneath there to lock that in, tighten that through, and then we go through the same hole again. not liking me today at all. I've done so many of these books, you wouldn't believe it. Yeah. So, get through that. Please let me have a decent run so I can show you. We got through that. Through that. Under there again. Lock it in. Through the hole. Back through that hole. Feed that through. Lock that in. And that is locking that last one in for us. And then we take our next signature. Just do this one more and see how. I really wanted to get a real nice run for you so I can. It will happen, is it? Through there. Through there. Look under your second signature this time. And then back through the same hole. Tighten that off, that in. It's really not liking me today, is it? Sort this out because now the video's fallen down, you're not going to see a thing. Just check where I'm going to be, sort of about there. I'm really sorry. I mean, you'll have probably a few little things that go wrong, but maybe not quite as many things as I've had to go wrong today. So that's through our next piece. And we're going to go through our next piece here. Pull that through. So we've got our next piece. Now you can see where the thinner needle is going to be a lot better. That locks it in place. Back through the hole. Untangle again. I've got a knot there now. I'm just going to risk that knot actually. Hopefully I can pull it through. And we go out through our next hole. Oops, which isn't there, it's here. I'm looking what I'm doing. Hopefully that knot will go away soon. So, I don't really know where I'm showing you on video now, so let's just go there, shall we? Yeah, let's look through there. So then we're pulling that all through. So that's locked our thread. It's the reason I do recommend that if you're going to do it, you try with card first. Because the card doesn't move around quite so much as when you start getting the fabric involved. But as I say, normally it is not as difficult as this. I probably put all of you off ever having a go. So that's our next piece. Next bit across there. There we are. And then we go back through. And then through the last one here. It's all moved around. Oh dear. It's one of them things, isn't it? You laugh or you'd cry. There we are. That's the final one. And we just come straight through there. So that's our first three. Find our centre, which is just there. So I'm not still, hopefully we get rid of that in a minute. While it gets caught on everything else. And then back through. Our second hole. Past the knot. And we're going to put underneath that and lock it off. So you go back through the same hole. Just make sure that's locked off first. And through our next hole. Do this one. It's the knot again. Through the third hole. There we are. Just going to get caught in the corners now. Thank you very much. There we are. That's in there. So again we lock off. Through there. There we go, that's that. Don't know if the cotton could catch on anything else on the table. Through the hole again. Check where we are. Right, so back through hook across to the next hole, pull that through, lock that off, again, around. I'm sure you'll have better luck than I'm having today anyway. Make sure it's locked off again, through that hole. Through your next hole. Just lock that off again. There we are. And then back through the same hole again. Back through, down through our last hole on this particular thing. Go through this way this time because it's easy with a long needle. There we are. That'll lock that one off. I've only got one more signature after this, so it might just as well show you. You might have turned off because I'm such a disaster. Hope not. It's definitely worth it, but honestly I do quite a few of these and they never ever give me as much trouble as this. Through there. That's locked off there, and then back through the same hole again. Once you've locked that off, do your next hole, right the way through. Oops, there we are, lock that back. Back through. Please go back through, make the match, do that hole, back through there, back through, just get that. Little treat spray there. With a smaller needle you don't get that so much trouble with that. Back through the same hole again. These, I thought we were going to get a nice run then. There we are. Through that one. Round here. Edge. through. Back out of your last hole. You're still looking in the right place. Then this one's not so hard, you can just go straight through that. Lock it. And then the final. Oh dear, I bet you'll be glad to see the back of me today after all this palaver. I'm really sorry that it was such a disastrous video. There. Not to knock that needle up. Yeah, this is where you can see that curved needle would be ideal, wouldn't it? Lock that off. And through there. Oops. Really twisted there, isn't it? There we are. Smashing the house up now. Sorry. Lock that off again. Put that through. There we are, that's that one. Through our last. One. Sorry, I'm moving that now. I can't see where I've marked out my my boundary now for filming, so that last one. Through. Right, I'm back again then, so sorry about that. I realised that the video had run out halfway through the disaster. So I'm just going to show you now. You continue till you get to the last leaf and then we're going to add the cover. So for the cover you come through the front cover like that, like we did before. You lock it and then we're going to go through the middle page again. Through the next piece, let's just make sure that's tight enough, pull that tight. Through your next piece, through the front of the cover, that tight, lock that one in, pull it tight, through the next piece, going a bit skew with, hopefully. Am I showing you that? Yep, through there. Through the next piece. Through your front cover. Back on itself. Go through your last little slip. So you lock it. And again through one. Along and through. Through your front cover or back cover, whichever you prefer to call it. Like that. Through that one. Through the back again. Through your front cover. Like that. Through the hole again. And then back through the last hole. Cover. Lock it once more. And then we're going to go through the final piece again there. There we are, so that's done that. And now what we want to do, I usually just go back through the next couple of holes just to bring it back, give us a little bit of extra thread. Come through to that centre piece. And then I'll tie it off. So to do that I come through, knot it off, under, through, knot it off, and then just to make it a bit more secure, if you want you can just go back one more time. Just go through there. There we are, let's go through there. And then easy, let's have a look. Just go through that one. There we are. There we are. And that will just knock that off. And just cut that off just there, and I haven't got scissors. So there we are. So whatever page you choose, you will now see that it will lie flat, so you can get on, you can do stitching or your drawing, or you know, some of these are like rice paper is great for this. If you put a couple of sheets of rice paper, this is quite thin, but you know, you could stick that together, stitch it together, stitch through it. Then you've got watercolour paper, black paper, fabric again. Got some really nice unusual fabrics there. And just a whole selection. Now these are the middle bits of your signature. I don't glue them. If you want to, if it's something you want to do, you can run like a beaded glue across there. Do that on each signature. I prefer to leave it like that. It does give you a bit more scope. You can put more things in, it gives you a bit more. Now if you see at the moment, the book's quite bulky. This slackens off. This is why it's important to do it fairly tight to start with, because that will loosen quite quickly, the stitching. So after a while you'll find that will just lie completely flat, and it will be a really nice flat book. But you quite like that, and then just cover it in the way you like. You can either I know we had a bit of a disaster today, but if you once you get used to it, this stitching looks really nice. You could do that in a contrasting colour, do it in a black or a red or whatever colour you fancy, and then just leave the front, or just decorate the front and leave the spine showing to show all your work. Or you can either cover it completely. Here's one I did years ago. What I've done here, this is really aged now, but just some embossing on the front, a bit of faux leather, cotton I used as the binding, just a brad for decoration, but it's a bit battered, but you can see now how that lays really nice and flat. But you can do various bits and pieces with it, and just a little notebook. This was actually made with the scrap of something else, and I thought, well, rather than throw it away, I used lots of recycled paper in there and made one like that, which I thought was quite nice. That's a really nice little book there. Or you can do how I showed on the show. You can use the magic media paper, cover the whole lot, and there you've got a nice book. So hopefully you'll have a go, and it isn't as hard as I've made it look today. So anyway, thank you very much. Sorry the thing broke in between, but I didn't realise I could only video so much at a time. So I hope you enjoyed it at last. Thanks very much. Take care and happy crafting. Bye. Bye.